Hello, ma'am.
Hello, Kaustubh. How are
Hello, ma'am. Good
you?
evening. I'm
Good
doing well, ma'am.
evening.
Thank you.
So, how have you been since the result has been out?
Ma'am, I've been pretty happy. My family, but
Right.
been, it has been a bit tough to get back to studies.
Of course, of course. That is very, very true. All right. So let's begin with the very first question. Firstly, I just want to congratulate you with my whole heart that
Thank you,
um,
ma'am.
the grit and determination that you have shown, and with which the exam, of course, RBI DEPR exam is a tough nut to crack. Because most of the exams, whenever a student starts to prepare for any exam, there's a syllabus and there are some questions to search about. However, in this examination, both of these two options were not there. So tell me, Kaustubh, how did you start preparing for this examination with no syllabus and with hardly any PYQs to find?
Ma'am, so I started preparing for this particular exam last year in January because last year the phase one examination was in March.
Hmm.
And because I was not very aware of what type of questions are there, and because of the misinformation, or you can say the lack of information, I was not able to even qualify the phase one last year. Then I got on to prepare for IES, and then there was a bit of a break, and then I resumed preparing this year only
Mhm.
for the DPR. I think, ma'am, since I was preparing for IES also, I
Mhm.
think there were some positive spillovers from there as I was preparing. So since it is a very quantitative paper in nature, so I was preparing in a way that I could cover both the general eco one paper there and also the phase one of RBI DPR. Yes, the phase one of DEPR is way more quantitative than the general eco one, as the scope of questions of econometrics is more vast, and we can also say the questions of macro and micro, the quantitative in nature, is quite wide. So, ma'am, what I did was I wasn't aware last year of what type of questions they will be. This time I used the resources. There were some PDFs of past year qualified candidates that was being circulated by some other people. Uh, Fortunately, I got my hand on them and I went through all the recommended topics that they said, and I worked on them. Topics like matrix approach to regression. I completely left those topics last year. This time I prepared them well. Though there wasn't a question about that this time, but yeah, there were some questions, and I think, ma'am, I was just more aware and rightly informed this time, and I practiced a lot about just solving the paper in the 2 hours. I practiced about that a lot, and I also had a right guidance this time, I think, and I was also surrounded by a good group of people this time.
Absolutely. I think for any type of a preparation, that kind of journey is very important because that struggle is very important to venture upon. Only then you realize how important that exam or that position is there for you. So continuing with this, there is also a very beautiful story behind the scenes which is happening when the aspirant is preparing for a very difficult examination. Like, for example, the family members, the friends, and your peer group, your elders, your gurus, all of them play a very important part because they are like the back end management system for you to function properly. So, what was the story like for you, Kaustubh?
Ma'am, I can say that I have been very fortunate. I've been surrounded by a healthy set of people who trust me more than I trust myself. Like my parents are dangerously positive. Like they are, you have cleared it, you have cleared it. I'm like, no, don't say like that. So yeah, so there is a lot
Great.
of positivity that I felt even when I wasn't able to succeed last year.
Yeah.
No one doubted my ability, and I think that was very important for me because
Right.
pessimism can be anywhere, ma'am. And if you're always surrounded by pessimism, you can see your peers who are going forward in their lives, getting promotion in the corporate sector, and a lot more.
Right.
So
Right.
pessimism is everywhere. So it is very important to surround yourself with a healthy set of people, and be it my family and be it my friends, they are way more happy in my success than I am. So, ma'am.
Absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. I think everyone around you must be feeling that energy and the positivity, as you mentioned, because it's very important for your mind to be settled before you actually settle down with your preparation. So I think you can also, share some very important things that probably you must have done so that you also are on track, but also your mind is calm and composed for all the students out there who are preparing for the same exam.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, I think it would be right for me to begin my journey from December last year. I found out some really nice set of people, and some of them have also cleared with me this year. And we formed a group, ma'am, and every weekly we started solving these past year questions of JNU and IIT Jam and GATE, because we could
Okay.
observe that the questions of these papers were somewhat of a similar lines, if not exactly, with what DEPR
Right.
attempts to. And since there are no past year papers of DEPR, we thought
Mhm.
that these could be a better substitute of somewhat a good substitute of that. So
Right.
what that did, man, that maintained a consistency full-fledged at that time for RBI DPER. There was some stability and some continuity in our preparation. So I think that helped well. So that when we got to know that the examination is in July, and when we revisited to
Mhm.
focus on it, we didn't need to start from the scratch. We were like, okay, we have covered certain ground, and we just need to build on that. So that was a
Mhm.
very important thing that happened this year. It happened very organically. Like it was a very conscious decision, since I have never been in a study group before, but I was like, let's try this. And the people were very driven in that group. And I think when you can see your competitors are driven, even you drive yourself. And we added a lot of value to each other. So that is I think one of the most important reasons and most important thing that happened this year. Apart from that, as you can say that since I wasn't working, I was a examination. Life can get very monotonous because you are just surrounded by the four walls. So I really stressed upon the fact that I indulge myself in other activities also. I used to go out. I am a bit artistically inclined, so I play instruments. I also dance. I sing. So I try to dabble myself in other activities, so that at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, that was a happy and satisfactory day. It was fine.
Yeah.
So I never study these many hours. I just focus that I should study when I wanted. And if I'm feeling that I need to push myself to study a lot, then I give it up for the time being, and I'll
Mhm.
let it come to me organically. So, ma'am, I
Mhm.
think those things I did, and also I think, ma'am, in order to do those things, you need a certain confidence that by the end you will be able to wrap whatever you have decided, whatever the course is. So yeah, fortunately I had that confidence this time. So yeah, these things worked in my favor, I guess.
Quite nicely put, Kaustubh, because all the aspirants out there have, that maybe study material or the information, but sometimes that driving force is lacking. So I think you have well put all those different things that were very right in your life at the right time. You were doing it correctly. So probably the students are also going to, learn to surround themselves with healthy environment and, competitive people, and following their interests along with, some kind of relaxation, and of course drive yourself towards the path of success. So
Yes,
yeah.
ma'am.
uh, there's also one very, curious question, because we all are economics students, because we study economics with passion. And when we talk about economics, there are so many competitive exams out there which are equally lucrative, equally, interesting. Why did you, or I would rather put it like this, that what was the motivation behind, going for RBI DEPR examination?
So, ma'am, when I started looking up my career option here, the two positions, or you can say institutions, that I was very much attracted to were Indian Economic Service and RBI. It is because of the exposure both the institutions provide you in terms of the subject you're inclined towards, and also it contributes heavily to the economy of the country. So, ma'am, yes, since the research profile is there, and I have also some interest in research because I have done previously some work in the same department. So that was also a motive to go there. But apart from that, the significant role the RBI plays in the continuation and the stabilization of the economy of the country, I think, ma'am, that in itself is a very big motivation or attraction to go for it.
Right, absolutely. Well, I think I must say that the monetary policy is in good hands now. So it's very nice that students as bright and formative like you are choosing such a difficult task. Choosing even between Indian Economic Services and RBI DPR is a very major decision altogether, and then going for that and finding the syllabus and cracking the phase 1 and phase 2 and all of these things, I think that is a matter of confidence inside of you. So kudos to that.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks for the kind words.
Oh, of course, you deserve all the applause. So also there was one thing in my mind, that because RBI DPER exam has 3 phases if we take it aggregatively. So phase 1 is completely different from phase 2, and then of course interview is another ball game. So please tell us about your journey for each of these phases, or each of these specific modules in the whole examination.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, obviously, ma'am, phase 1 is becomes tricky because it is of an objective nature, and I think an objective examination requires a bit of luck. Like, you can showcase your hard work in a subjective paper, but in an objective paper, it is like, okay, your hard work is there, but there also needs to be some luck. You also need to be calm and composed because it's a very short duration, fast-paced examination. So yeah, ma'am, I was enrolled in a test series with a mentor named Naveen. So I think that helped me a lot in streamlining my preparation. I think, and I think that also made me quantitatively strong on mix. So I think for the phase 1, that benefited me greatly.
Right.
And I practiced that, ma'am, and I could gauge my performance with the type of marks I was scoring, and that was also giving me some confidence. And so I went in the examination with a great deal of confidence, and I had a strategy that I needed to cover these many questions in these many to have 15 to. Yes.
Sorry, your voice got cut.
Okay,
The
ma'am.
last sentence. Yeah, just
Okay.
could you
Sure,
just
ma'am.
repeat that?
Sure, ma'am. So I was just saying that, ma'am, when I went to the examination, I had a strategy beforehand, how I needed to approach the paper. And to be honest, ma'am, that strategy is completely personal. Every candidate has his or her or their own strategy. So mine was to have at least 15 to 20 minutes for the last 2 questions, which are of 4 markers, because I know that they can be deal breaker or deal maker if I get those 2 questions right. And I think I did get those 2 questions right. And when those 2 questions happened, I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm good here. So I think, ma'am, that went well in my favor regarding the phase 1. Regarding the phase 2, ma'am, I didn't have any particular guidance in that matter. But since I was enrolled with Ecoholics for the IES test series, so I had a certain good practice of answer writing. and I've been writing answers since last year for IES. So I was aware of how the structure should be, how there is an intro, how there is a body and conclusion, how to add value to your answers like facts and figures, committees, and etc. So for phase two, I just needed to brush those things up. There can be a certain difference between IES and RBI because there is no word limit in RBI. So you also have to keep in mind that you don't over lengthen your answer. You keep it in a short limit. So that was the only thing that I kept in my mind. And also, we can see that in the last 2 years, the phase two has also become a bit quantitative in nature. There are some couple of numericals here and there where you can easily score marks, and they are not they are also a bit of a basic concept. So I think students can see that thing and they can do well there. I think many did well there. Many of them scored well at those situations. So for the phase two, ma'am, uh, economics paper, I think I just needed to brush my concepts up and revise my notes. And I think I had a good base with the answer writing. So I just capitalized on that, in my opinion. Regarding English, ma'am, I did practice essay writing. And I think that came very handy at the time because one of the topic that came, I think it was child malnutrition. That was something that I knew very clearly about. I knew the data, exact data, and the committee, so I just went right straight in because it's a 90-minute paper, so you don't have a time. And this time there was a 600 words limit for the essay. So you needed to ensure that your essay is at least of 500 words. And so I think, ma'am, though that practice of essay writing did help. And as far as Pressy and passage is concerned, I just ensured that there is no grammatical mistake and typing mistake, since there can be some typing mistake here and there. So I just ensured that there.
Right. Exactly. I mean, each of the phases very important in its own spectrum because it will decide your final marks or your final cut for the for your selection. So I think something that I found really interesting in all your preparation talk was your strategy. I think this time you did not just have the knowledge and perfection, but you also had a correct strategy and you knew that, okay, I have to do this in the phase one, then I have to put my mind in some different thing in phase two, and then finally the interview part. So I think that the whole process was quite sorted in your mind, and I think
Yes,
that
ma'am.
that I can see from your talk, the way in which you have explained each of the phase. I think that's something that is very interesting, and I believe that the aspirants are going to very much understand the journey out of this. So really great, Kaustubh.
Yeah, ma'am. I really believe, ma'am, it is as far as it is important to study the course and the syllabus, it is really important to study the exam also, which you are appearing for. So
Yeah.
if you get those things right, how many questions are there, from which topics they are coming, which is the where it is drawing the most magnitude from, you can really prepare yourself according to that. Yeah, ma'am.
Right, absolutely. You mentioned that the English practice and the typing practice is also very important because many a times students ignore completely this, like, ठीक है, English exam ही तो है, but then of course there's a time and accuracy fundamental also which keeps you cracking. So did you practice some essays or typed them just so that you can see how much accurate are you on writing the essay part and typing it actually, and how much are you with the words and everything?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely did that because it is important to do that because because what happens, ma'am, in your laptop it's a very easy keyboard and the keys are very soft, but that doesn't work the same way there. The keys are a bit hard and sometimes you are just backspacing and it's not getting backspace there. So there are a lot of sorry. There are a lot of things that are not feasible there, so you need to prepare yourself. You are computing your paper 10 to 15 minutes earlier when you are doing that at home, because that 10 to 15 minutes will just be soaked in just backspacing and going from one page to another, scrolling up and down. And so, ma'am, yes, I did practice, ma'am. Also, I think, ma'am, one more thing happened with me this year was that I also took the SEBI examination this year, and I got qualified fortunately for the phase two. I couldn't qualify further, but I got a real time experience of writing the English paper there. So I think that also helped me in a way, because that introduced me to the nature of the thing, how you type on an examination like this. So I think that also benefited me in some way.
Right, right, absolutely. You did you also like read few English books or like quotations or phrases or articles, just so that you have things in handy before the exam?
Ma'am, no English book as such, but I did prepare quotations for every wide topic, so as to say health or maybe gender inequality or maybe poverty. I did prepare those quotations, and I think this is where my IES prep also comes handy, because I prepared it for that examination, and I also used those things here. There is a bit of conjecture that you shouldn't be using quotations in RBI. I used to hear that from some other people, but I did it anyway, and I don't think it worked against me. I think the marks came today only, and I scored decently in English. So I think we can use quotations and phrases and make enrich your content there.
Absolutely, yeah, because like who does not like a good, well-written essay to read? So I think that's something again, a right strategy and confidence in your own skin is something that you have had in the whole preparation journey. So that has definitely put a lot of weight on your success.
Yes, ma'am, probably.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there is also one interesting question that after all of your preparation happens, everything is done. You have done the syllabus, you have done your good to go for the examination. But that last day before the examination, there is so much of anxiousness, anxiety. So, how did you calm yourself down on that last one day, and what did you think about, read about, just before going to that examination hall? What was that journey like?
Uh, Ma'am, so, ma'am, I will try to put it in perspective. The IES examination ended on 26th June, and the RBI examination was on 1st July. So there was a very, very small window there, and it's a very exhausting examination of IES. So there was almost no time for RBI. So I don't know, maybe it worked in my favor, because there was not much to think about. There was just like, okay, I have these 2 days. I needed to do something in that. Also, ma'am, as I mentioned before, I was surrounded with some of the peers of mine. So I could share my anxiety with them. They could share their anxiety with me. And we can just sense that, okay, we are on the same boat. So that definitely makes you feel good, and makes you feel, okay, you're not alone. And everyone is feeling the same way. Okay, you're no different. And so that does provide you with a lot of confidence. And when you see that you are at par with other people in terms of what you are feeling like, you are say, okay, fine. So, ma'am, yeah, I just focused on myself, and I was confident on what I had, the knowledge I had, and the strategy I had. I was confident. I think, ma'am, the confidence was a great difference this time.
Right, right. I think you knew your metal very well. So definitely, it worked. It worked like a blessing for you.
Yes, ma'am,
It
it
was
surely
like a
did.
support system. Yeah. So you were preparing simultaneously for Indian Economic Services also, and you were writing the test series also, and along with that, then you were preparing for this exam also. So many a times for a student, it's a lot to take. And then you also mentioned that you also gave the SEBI examination meanwhile. So there are there are students who prepare for an examination. Sometimes students also take like 1 year gap, 2 year gap just to crack the examination. However, in your situation, you have tried all the opportunities, I believe. Whatever has come your way, you have not ignored it. So, what was that? What, where does it come from? What did really inspire you to, be that person out there and go fetch the opportunity?
Ma'am, I can say it came from a place of necessity and desperateness for success. Because when last year I couldn't clear RBI and IES, I just needed a success in my life. And since I wasn't employed, so I just needed a success in my life to instill some confidence in me and to motivate myself further. So I took the NET examination, I took the GATE examination, I took SEBI, RBI, and this one early. And I cleared NET with JRF. I also secured a good ranking in GATE. So even if I didn't want to pursue those things, that instilled a great confidence in me. And just a positive news around you gives you a lot of happiness. Okay, something is going all right in the life. So I think, ma'am, a desperation for success was what. And also, ma'am, there is one more reason. It is very important to keep giving examination to maintain, to sustain that feeling of the examination hall. So when eventually you go on your main day, you do not feel unfamiliar with the surrounding, with the environment. So it is, I think it is nice to keep taking examinations, not take the irrelevant examination. That is also a key. Just take which are relevant, which are related to your stream. Yeah, ma'am.
Right, absolutely. Right. I think to end this beautiful conversation, I would just like to ask you, how did our platform Ecoholics helped you in your journey? Because there were so many instances where there were interactions also on mail also with you, and we just, for any student for that matter, it's always an anxiety on the teacher's part also, on the mentor's part also, that what will be the outcome. And when the result was out, and there was a list of roll numbers, and we were literally frantically highlighting the roll numbers, and it was just out of the kind of success that you all have achieved is so much elation for all of us that you can't even imagine. So how was your journey with Ecoholics?
So, ma'am, I think my journey with the college goes back to the last year. From the very there on, I was attached, and I think that had a lot of positive spillover in the phase two examination of DPER. And regarding the interview process, ma'am, I think we received a very healthy guidance from the Ecoholics platform. The mock that was conducted was quite helpful, and that also instilled some confidence. Like I could gauge where I'm standing, how well I'm able to respond, and I really loved how detailed the feedbacks were, the review feedbacks, and they were very crystal clear. I remember you also gave me the feedback. So yes, ma'am, I think those pointers were really important in order to guide you that and ensure that you are in the right direction. Just capitalize on it, and you are on the right path. Yes.
Right.
I also remember, ma'am, for the guidance session with Sanat sir, he asked me about how would I answer if I've been asked that what would I prefer between IES and RBI, and I gave a very bad that to me that this won't work and you should prepare a better answer for that. And I did prepare a better answer for that, though the panel didn't ask me. But yeah, just the confidence that okay, I'm well prepared about this. That also gives a lot of boost.
Absolutely. So, Kaustubh, it was very, very elating to have talked with you, and it was very nice to chat with you and to know your journey, your side of the story. And I really, really hope that you become successful, and more success and happiness comes to you and your family, and you have like lit the lamp of success for your family. So it's a very proud moment for all of your peers and friends and family. So keep up the good work, and you're like a family to us. So always, whenever you
Surely,
want
ma'am.
to, connect with us, and whenever you would want to give us some, good guidance, some students mentorship, you're always welcome.
Sure, ma'am. Thanks for having me, ma'am, and thanks for all the kind words that you said.
All right. All the best, Kaustubh. All the best. Stay
Thank you
stay in
so much, ma'am.
touch.
Surely, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a good day,
Take
ma'am.
care. Okay, you too. Bye bye.